Well, I'm sure you're all wondering why I'm showing up in your feed. It's not my normal time to show up. It's not the first of the month, it's not halfway through the month, but I am putting out a bonus episode today for you all. This month marks the 1 year anniversary of Talk Your Abs Off. Can you believe that this podcast has been going for a full year already? I cannot believe it, number one. Number two, I am so grateful for all of the guests that I have had the honor of talking to over the past year. I've had 10 guests, and then I've done some solo episodes where I've gotten to dig into some fitness topics that I'm really passionate about, and I cannot wait for the next year. However, to celebrate this 1 year anniversary, I am putting together a compilation of all of the absolutions from each of my guests who I presented the absolution topic to. If you're unfamiliar with my absolution portion of the show, it's at the very end, so if you fast forward through it, you never hear it. But it's a really awesome part of the show where I ask my guests something that they feel is toxic within the fitness industry, which, if we're being honest, could be quite a few things. So I always like to ask and say, hey, what would you like to encourage the listeners to absolve themselves of any guilt or punishment of that they might be feeling? And I have gotten some really good answers over the past year, and I just wanted to reshare them with you. So this little bonus episode is just a celebration of 1 year of Talk Your Abs Off, and also to just remind you that you should not be feeling guilty. You should not be embracing anything toxic from the fitness industry. We want it to be a positive place where you can do what feels right for you and your body. Thank you so much for being a part of Talk Your Abs Off, for supporting the show over the past year, and I look forward to bringing you so many more fabulous guests and great fitness topics to help you learn, to help keep you encouraged and motivated, and I just can't thank you enough. So, Kylie, what do you have for me?
Amazing. I mean, I'm sure you could go back through everything that I said today and make a list of the things that I'm like, this is what I would change within the dance and fitness industries. But honestly, if I had to pick for my clients, if I could just absolve them of guilt and punishment from anything, I think it would be like the choice of activity. I have so many people that show up and they're so stressed and they're like, I don't like running and I don't know what to do about it. And I'm like, listen, we don't have to go for runs. Everything counts. Like, it can be, we can take a Zumba class together. You don't want to be in public? You can have a dance party in a room. Like, walking counts. Like every activity is an activity, and whatever gets you moving that feels joyful and feels fun, I think that that's the most important way to do it. I think the same thing with strength training. Like, a lot of people will be like, I'm not super excited about it, but I know that it's good for me. And I'm like, okay, well, tell me what activities you like to do. And say they're like, they hike in their free time. I'm like, okay, what if we very specifically structured your strength training to help you improve at your hiking? And then it's like, okay, yes, maybe you don't literally want to show up for every workout. Maybe it's not the most joyful thing in the world, but is it helping you feel better during your joyful movement? Absolutely. So I think just pulling the guilt out of feeling like you're exercising the wrong way. There is no wrong way.
What do you got for me, Jacqueline?
Enjoying tasty snacks. Like this food shame stuff. No, you can have Oreos, you can have Cheetos, you can have chips, you can have all of that on your health journey, whatever your goals are. And I'm tired of people shaming people about Oreos and stuff, because it's so good. And let's not pretend that we all don't love junk food, because we do. Whatever it is, everybody's got their thing. And I know we talked about this a lot with our previous health coach job, but you can do healthy additions. Like, for my personal example, my comfort food is mac and cheese, and I can eat mac and cheese 5 out of 7 days of the week, no problem. But I found if I add protein, like chicken or tuna, and then add peas or broccoli or whatever, just bulk it up, then it's so satisfying, and I don't eat the whole box, and I feel better. I don't feel like I need to spend the whole, rest of the day in bed because I ate way too much noodles and cheese. It's kind of filling in the whole picture. Or Oreos, I can eat 4 Oreos with Greek yogurt and some berries instead of a whole sleeve at once. And then I have energy, and, there's ways to do it. So eat your food that you love.
What do you think, Jen? What are we absolving today?
So we are getting rid of the guilt of missing a training run or taking a rest day.
Ooh, Expand on that. I love that.
So I think when we sit down, we get this training plan, we see however many weeks it is, and it's X amount of runs per week. And, we get so focused on the individual run. So like today I have a speed workout and I have to hit exactly this pace for each of these 10 reps. And like, if I don't do it, then like the workout was a failure, and that's just not true. And so there's going to be days where you might wake up and you don't feel well and you need to take a rest day. Or mentally, you're just not there, and it would be more beneficial for you to rest or move that workout somewhere else. And that's okay. And that's sometimes necessary. It will be more important to do that and to take care of yourself physically and mentally than it is to push through something. And that's not to say that, we should always just wake up and be like, I don't feel like doing this today. And then like, we're just not going to do it. So there's, a little bit of where having a coach will kind of help you with that. Decide, is this something that I should just move to a different day, or do I just skip it and move forward? If that, makes more sense. Like that's something that I help athletes with a lot. But you're not losing fitness if you miss a day, if you take an extra rest day, or even just your regular programmed rest day. Like it's there for a reason. Your body is going to build its strength when it's recovering. So it's not always just the workout that is providing all the stimulus that you need. It's taking that rest day to kind of give your body time to, take in that stimulus. And so don't feel guilty if you need to take time off. If you need to take a week off, 2 weeks off, like it's fine. Like you are not going to lose fitness. If you do, you're going to build it back really quickly. Like life happens. We do this because it's fun and we like it.
So I'm curious to know, what are we absolving today?
I hate the scale.
Amen.
Oh, gosh. There's so many issues. First of all, if you do it first thing when you get up, that's wrong, because you got to poop first if you're going to do it. Second of all, it's known that if you get on the scale, whether you consciously know it or not, your cortisol level is going to go up. And that can actually create more issues down the way of like hormones and all this stuff. Then you're not going to lose the weight. So if you are going to do the scale, like once a month, pay more attention to like how our clothes are fitting, how we feel, that kind of thing. And yes, we all want to have, guns like Abby. If you want guns like Abby, do those programs. But in the meantime, while you're in that process, give yourself grace, stay off the scale, and just love that you're in that process and that you're making the change.
So tell me what you got, Kat.
Oh my goodness. Well, the thing that stands out to me the most is probably the philosophy I've adopted through these last 6 years. I was much of a conformist before that. I believed that in order to be either popular or noticed or whatever, that I had to follow all of the conforming aspects of society, whatever that was, whether it was at work or home. Am I a good enough mother? Am I a good enough wife? Am I a good enough boss? Am I a good enough nurse? All of those things. Do I work out hard enough? Do I not working out hard enough? I think we beat ourselves up over all of that. We also all have a huge fear of failure, but you cannot succeed without failing. You can't get to success without some failure. So one thing that I would ask your viewers to absolve themselves of is the fear of failure. Listen, again, see that number? 150, right? Am I there? No. Do I forgive myself for not getting there? It doesn't matter. I got under 200 pounds. Who cares? Do the who cares test. Who cares? At the end of the day, absolve yourself of having to be just like Catherine Belden or anyone else, because you are you. And don't be afraid to fail. The more you fail, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more you succeed. And my philosophy in life is I don't lose. I win or I learn.
Well, the first one that comes to my mind is that, one, abs are required to be fit. As we talk about abs, and that's in the title of this, I will just be completely transparent. I think I've had like visible abs in my life, like maybe for 1 month out of my entire lifetime. Like even now, as I'm, able to run 46 miles and go in after even bigger goals, I don't have that six pack that we all are aspiring to go after in the fitness world. It's not needed to be fit. It's cool to have, not required to have. It's also really stinking hard and a lot of miserable getting it. So it's not required. I think that is one of the things that going into this year, don't make that the visual that you're going after. Go after the feeling more about being in shape and doing really cool things with that healthy body.
Yeah.
If you're just constantly worrying about getting abs, like trust me, I've 28 years into this fitness, we're like, it doesn't need to be the requirement
And it
to look at yourself.
also does not reflect health, right? Just because you can see abdominal muscles does not mean someone is healthy. It just means that, you know, they might have a very low body fat percentage. They might have really good genetics. I'll also say I cannot see my abs either, but you know, we live a healthy lifestyle, and you know, you don't need to see the abs. All right, keep going. I feel like you have more. I feel like that you said that was one, so I'm ready for more.
Okay, good. My other one, and this is one that I had to eliminate from my mind, is that sleep is for the weak. Sleep, just you could do any bit of research on it, and it's something as a morning show radio host I have neglected for years. But when you see how detrimental it is for your health to not get the proper amount of sleep because you're trying to fit in more time for work, you're trying to do more activities with friends, like you are stripping yourself from whatever you're going after. It could be anything. You're doing more hours at work and you're cutting away from sleep. Well, now you're not as good at work because you don't have as much sleep. You want to get that healthy, in shape body. I talk to my friend about this all the time. I'm like, if you don't give your body the time to recover, we'll be at the gym all day.
It's true.
And I know you have a vision of what you want to see, but you won't see it because your body is literally not getting the time to heal. It's not getting that resting factor. And it's something I've had to eliminate because I used to have that mindset. Sleep is for the weak. I'll sleep when I'm dead. And it's one of the dumbest things we could say, because look at any research. They've shown it now that when you sleep, it gives your mind time to heal, your body time to heal. You will lose fat. You will gain muscle. You will feel better. Brain fog's gone. Like everything falls in line when you properly sleep.
So what do you think, Jay?
I would say that the mentality that you know that this is optional or nice to have, we should mandate to ourselves. We owe it to ourselves to, just like we brush our teeth, to have movement, to stretch, and not look at ourselves or look at others that are taking care of, you know, that are doing these exercises, whatnot, as that's a luxury and a nice to have, but as just a fundamental right that we owe ourselves.
Well, of course, you know, the man gyms are just something where I don't know if I should have said it that way, but that's it. But you get the idea where when you go to certain gyms and that mentality of, you know, you've got to weight train this way, you've got to, you know, grunt and throw the weights around.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to do CrossFit and, you know, get hard, brother. You know, stuff like that. I'm like, you know what, you know, when I was 20, I got that, but no, at a certain age, you kind of let that stuff go.
Yeah.
Kind of what, so so here's my thing. So we don't do costume parties.
Okay.
So my wife would love to, but my philosophy is, you know, once you get past the age of trick-or-treating, there's no reason for an adult to wear a costume. I had an earring, you know, in my 20s and 30s, and I picked an age of 40. I said, you know what? When you get 40, there's really no reason for a man to have an earring in his ear. So I go through all those periods where, you know what? I'm old enough that I don't need to be that way in the gym. So that's the kind of the stuff I would do away with it. But the way I would probably phrase it better would be something like, listen, you be you.
Yeah.
You know, you do you. And if that works for you, that's fine. And let me be me.
Yeah.
I'm going to find out what works for me. And if it coincides with what works for you, great. If not, just allow me the space to do what works for me.
I've kind of talked about most of mine already. One of which is unfollow people who live an unrealistic expectation, like that put those burdens on you. It's not worth it. Follow people who are going to be honest and truthful about the experience of being physically well, about eating healthy. One of the people I follow, one of my greatest shames is I'm addicted to soda. So, and diet soda specifically. And I've spent many, many years being told, oh, that'll kill you, that'll kill you, that'll kill you. I follow people who are fitness influencers who have amazing physiques who say, are you drinking 10 a day? No, you're going to be fine. Drink that Diet Coke, eat within reason. Follow those people who are going to work within your lifestyle to help you make healthier choices. Don't go for the people who make you feel ashamed of who you are, or ashamed that you can't work out for an hour, or make you look in the mirror and say, I'm not enough. It is good to have goals. It is always, I'm not telling you not to have goals, like to have that fitness physique that you want to achieve and all that, but don't follow people who aren't realistic about that. That's like my number one that we've already talked about. My other one is a reminder to neurodivergent people who really, really like to have things done quickly and to be the best at things. And that is, I'm going to talk a little bit about the iron triangle, which is a project management term. It's known as a couple of different things, but we'll call it the iron triangle for this, which is each corner is cheap, fast, and good. So if you want it cheap and fast, it's probably not going to be good. If you want it fast and good, it's not going to be cheap, so on. You can only have two of those things. And it really applies to fitness. And I think we can pull out good and put in healthy, right? If you want it to be fast and healthy, it's probably not going to be cheap. You're probably going to need to get a nutritionist involved. You're probably going to need to get a personal trainer involved. It's not going to be cheap also from the perspective of your time. You're going to have to put a ton of time into it to do it right. If you want it fast and cheap, it's probably not going to be healthy. I've spent my whole life doing fast and cheap, which is to say not eating right, being a cardio bunny, running 8 to 10 to 15 miles, at a time. It's not going to be good. You're going to develop bad habits. And so when you're asking yourself, what do I want from this? My recommendation to you neurodivergents, and if this is your moment, if you're waiting for that moment of the sky to strike you down and tell you what to do, let me be that influence on you. I recommend finding the healthy approach. So always go with the healthy corner. And if you want to do it cheap, then make sure that you're following the right people, that you're giving what you can of yourself. So cheap on your time, cheap on that. Just be ready for the fact that it's going to take a while. It's not going to be fast. There are not a lot of things that are going to be fast about this. If you want it to be fast, do it the right way. Find yourself a personal trainer. Find yourself a nutritionist. Find yourself all the people who are going to support you through this journey, because it's not going to be easy if it's fast. It's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of money. And you're going to have all your tools in your arsenal, or you're going to hurt yourself.
So I'm curious to hear what you would say that we should absolve ourselves of the guilt of.
Okay, and I guess I'll use my experience in a couple of different weight loss programs as examples. I just was feeling the pressure of doing everything correctly every day. And if somebody would check my food logs and look and say, well, you could have done this differently, you could have done that differently. And I get the fact that accountability is good and it's to be helpful to me, but just to realize it doesn't have to be done perfectly every day. And you can still enjoy some things you used to enjoy and like them and appreciate them. But just knowing that you need to get back on it as soon as possible, but it doesn't have to be perfect. And that also I ran into the goal weight syndrome, the goal weight meaning the finality. I've arrived, okay, I'm good now, when I clearly was not. I had not grasped the sustainability, I understood the maintenance part of these programs. That's, I guess, would be another word for sustainability, but just knowing that that goal weight is something to keep in the back of your mind, but have something else besides a number in your head. Have some other life goals for yourself. Like mine are being in good condition for myself and my family so that I can enjoy these last, years that I have, and do things for others and do things for my family. So just letting go of the, oh my gosh, I didn't eat, that was bad for me, I shouldn't have done this, I shouldn't have done that. I would say, let that go, give yourself some grace.
Hope you enjoyed this little walk down memory lane. I know I certainly did, listening back from over the past year and hearing my guests share what they want to be positive in the fitness industry and what they want to get rid of that has been toxic for them and people around them that they've seen. If any of those resonate with you, I would love to hear about it, and I'd also love to connect with you and have you be a part of my community. You can find me at Coach Abby Clapper pretty much anywhere: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn if you're on that, which would be weird, but anyways, you can connect with me there. I'm also on TikTok. You can find me on YouTube. Wherever you take your media from, I'm probably there for the most part. And you can also check me out on my website. I do have a free resource available for anyone who's interested. My services and a little bit more about me is also on that website as well. It is endorphinwellness.com. Endorphin is spelled ENDORFIN. I would love to see you on any of those platforms and just connect with you. So look forward to seeing you, and thank you again for listening to this episode, this throwback episode of Talk Your Abs Off.